100 years ago, Dallas Masonic Lodge 760 was born. Its founders were some of the most honorable and influential men in Dallas. They set the stage for what was to become a century of brotherhood filled with fine men representing all aspects of the community. Our members included the best and the brightest of the political, economic, and religious leaders. The Brethren of Dallas Lodge 760 are proud of its history of contributions to charity, education, and Freemasonry. 5 men who served our lodge as master also served the Grand Lodge of Texas as Grand Master. What you're about to see is a look back at some of the men who helped shape what we believe to be one of the finest lodges in the state of Texas. In 1895, when Dallas Lodge 760 was formed, Dallas was still recovering from the Panic of '93, a severe financial breakdown. Nonetheless, business and government were moving forward. The Grand Lodge of Texas laid the cornerstone of the Dallas County Courthouse in 1894. It is now the famous landmark known as Old Red. In the next few years, Dallas saw its first golf game, its first movie theater, and its first automobile. Business giants like Alex Sanger, William H. Gaston, and A.V. Lane helped transform Dallas from a small southern town of about 35,000 people to a great city of the world, growing 1,000% over the next 50 years. All of the business leaders we just mentioned were members of Dallas Lodge 760. It gives you an idea of the powerful men who built the foundation for this lodge, many of whom were charter members. The first worshipful master of Dallas Lodge 760 was a former Grand Master himself, Anson Rainey. A veteran of the Civil War, Anson Rainey served our lodge dutifully, rarely missing a meeting or degree. He was also the first District Deputy Grand Master from our lodge. In 1906, Rainey became the president of the Masonic Home and School, where he remained on the board for the next 33 years until his death in 1922. Almost a century later, the Masonic Home and School maintains its goal to teach and care for the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, nieces and nephews of Texas Masons. No tuition is required. The facility's multi-million-dollar budget is supported entirely by the Masons of Texas. Another charter member and political leader was publisher Louis Blaylock. He went on to become the police commissioner and then mayor of Dallas. Brother Blaylock was one of 4 Dallas Lodge brethren to serve as mayor, along with R.L. Thornton, W.O. Connor, and Judge W.M. Holland. Louis Blaylock was also known for being elected to more offices and serving more years in elected positions than any person in Dallas history. Brothers Blaylock and Holland were also past masters of Dallas Lodge. Another great civic and religious leader and a charter member was Alex Sanger of Sanger Brothers Department Stores. He was a founder of the Hebrew Benevolent Society, out of which grew Temple Emmanuel, one of the largest Reformed temples in the world. He also helped fund the Dallas Public Library and was president of United Charities and the Chamber of Commerce. William Henry Gaston was the first major banker in Dallas. He was also known as a great civic leader and visionary who helped make Dallas into a leading economic city. It was primarily his financial and philanthropic efforts that brought the Texas State Fair to Dallas. He donated 87 acres of land for the fair, and although it lost money every year, he paid the overages out of his own pocket. The fair helped put Dallas on the map. Today, more than 3 million people attend the fair each year. Captain Gaston also donated the land that persuaded the railroad to pass through Dallas, without which Dallas's growth would have been permanently impaired. Alexander Charles Garrett was one of the most important religious leaders Dallas has known. He was the first Episcopalian bishop of the North Texas Diocese. During his year as master of the lodge, he was also the head of the Episcopal Church for the United States. Throughout his lifetime, Brother Garrett consecrated more Episcopal churches than any man in the country. He also founded St. Mary's College, which was the first women's college in Dallas. 1 year later, in 1897, an insurance broker would join Dallas Lodge and become one of the greatest Masons Texas has ever known. His name was Sam P. Cochran. Almost immediately, Sam Cochran devoted himself to Masonry. Within a year, he was a certificate holder in the degree work, and within a few years, he became active in every Masonic and appendant bodies and rose to the highest office in every one of them. In 1911, he became Grand Master of Texas Masons.
Well, Mr. Cochran was a man that was always very innovative, and he had a whole lot of original ideas. And he had the power and the position to get them started. For example, he was the guy that originated the Scottish Rite Dormitory at the University of Texas. That was his idea, and he did it. In addition, he was really the force behind the Scottish Rite Hospital.
Okay, we're gonna dance. Would you dance with me? Right? Here we go.
Thanks to the innovations of Sam P. and generous pockets of the private community, Scottish Rite Hospital treats children for everything from orthopedics to dyslexia. And it's absolutely free. You can't find a cash register anywhere. The Masonic Retirement Center in Arlington, Texas was also the idea of Brother Cochran. It began in 1899 as a joint venture with a Masonic home and school, combining children and widows. Since it wasn't easy mixing the two, Sam P. proposed and organized the building of a separate facility for the widows in 1912. He served on the board of directors and as president of the institution for 10 years. Today, more than half of its residents are widows of Masonic brethren. The home and school provides more than half of the center's annual budget, so the widows never have to pay a dime to live there. Sam Cochran was also the president of the Scottish Rite Cathedral Building Committee, which contracted this illustrious building. Most of the money to build it came from Sam himself, which the Scottish Rite paid back over the years. It is one reason his statue stands proudly on the cathedral's front lawn. The reputation of Dallas Lodge attracted so many people by the mid-1920s, its membership rose to over 1,000. From the 1930s to the mid-1940s, America would be sent into a tailspin, coping with everything from the Great Depression to World War II. In 1941, the Masonic Temple was built. During this time, two of our brethren were elected Grand Master of Texas, Hiram F. Lively and Mike H. Thomas. Born on a farm in Dallas County, Mike H. Thomas became the most powerful cotton broker of his day and an outstanding civic leader. He was raised in Dallas Lodge in 1900. 22 years later, he became the Grand Master of Texas Masons. As Grand Master, he was most concerned with the charitable and benevolent aspects of Masonry, the Masonic home and school being his personal favorite. He served on its board of directors for over 20 years. Attorney Hiram F. Lively was raised as a Master Mason in Dallas Lodge in 1901. During that time, he was Assistant Dallas County Attorney. 3 years later, he was elected County Judge, for which he served 2 terms. He then entered private practice and had a distinguished legal career. He was elected Grand Master of Texas Masons in 1930. The men who helped shape our lodge over the past 100 years have given it an aura unlike any other lodge. From W.H. Gaston to Sam P. Cochran to Bob Dillard, our members today are proud of its heritage.
Belonging to Dallas Lodge means that you can't go anywhere in this state and not have somebody understand where you're from. When you say Dallas Lodge or Dallas 760, there's pride to belong to any Masonic Lodge, but I would bet you that none of them carry the feelings you get when you say to the others, I'm a member of Dallas Lodge.
It gives me a lot of pride to look along the pictures on the wall and know that I've had an opportunity to serve as the presiding officer of a lodge that had mayors of Dallas serving in that capacity, judges, attorneys, prominent movers and shapers of the city, and that does give me a good feeling that I've had that opportunity, and it puts me in some very fine company.
Dallas Lodge has always been what I call a class lodge. It's been a lodge that has had distinguished and high-class people in it, leaders. Then a whole raft of people who weren't that prominent, but who were also very solid citizens.
Following World War II, our country would undergo extreme change in only 25 years, from 1945 to 1970. We would fight 2 wars. There was the birth of television, the battle for civil rights, a man landing on the moon, and the assassination of a president. But Masonry would continue to grow and be an anchor for those in need of stability. To the Dallas Lodge came Bob Dillard.
Okay, I haven't been able to get Gertis on the phone, but I'll try again. All right.
He is known as Mr. Mason in Texas. He served this lodge as its worshipful master back in the late 40s. He served the Grand Lodge of Texas as the Grand Master of Masons in the early 60s. He has served as chairman of the Jurisprudence Committee, one of the most powerful committees of the Grand Lodge.
This is a picture of Mr. Suarez, the president of Portugal, that was presented to me in Lisbon.
He's probably the most knowledgeable Mason in the world about the law of Masonry, about the protocol of Masonry. There isn't anybody that doesn't look to Bob Dillard with a sense of awe and with a great sense of pride and a whole lot of fraternal love.
I confer upon you the title, rank, and distinction of Grand Cross Court of Honor.
This past year, Bob Dillard received an award from the Scottish Rite Supreme Council of the Southern Jurisdiction for his service to Masonry. He is only the 8th person in Texas to receive this award in 125 years.
It's a funny relationship that Bob and I have had. He is a father figure, a brother figure, a co-worker figure. I don't know. You know, you hitch your wagon to a star in Freemasonry in life, and he just happens to be the star I hitch my wagon to.
Bob represents the best of men. He is a devoted husband, father, friend, Mason, and citizen.
I served 9 years on the Board of Education and was president of the Board of Education of the Dallas Independent School District. I've been the president of any number of institutions, welfare, nonprofit institutions, the Science Place, the Dallas Epilepsy Association, the Community Council of Greater Dallas, and so forth. I will say also I've done the same sort of thing in the Methodist Church. I'm one of the few laymen that have been elected 6 times to the General Conference of the Methodist Church, and I've been chairman of nearly every commission and board they have in the North Texas Conference. The Unit 2 that we're working on now is entitled Witnessing in Judea and Samaria. And we're going to be talking this morning about some areas much farther away from Jerusalem than Judea.
As a devout religious man, Bob finds time in his busy schedule to teach a Sunday school class for his church, the same class he has taught for the last 44 years. One of the tenets of Masonry is the spiritual building of man. The religious community has benefited greatly by several members of Dallas Lodge, including Episcopal Bishop Alexander C. Garrett, W.C. Martin, Bishop of the Methodist Church, Rabbi David Lefkowitz of Temple Emmanuel, and George W. Truitt, the senior pastor of the First Baptist Church of Dallas, which during his lifetime grew to be the largest Baptist church in the world. Besides the specific contributions of our religious leaders, religion is essential to the fundamentals of Masonry.
We bow our heads in reverence to our God. Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for the 100 years our lodge has served Thy word and Thy commandments. I believe that by pointing out the close relationship between Masonry and the Bible, that the Masons, and especially the newer Masons, realize the significance of biblical teaching and God's Word to our Masonic actions today.
Masonry stresses the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man and the immortality of Holy Scriptures.
Needless to say, with time there is change. The last 25 years has seen the disgrace of a presidency to the collapse of communism. We live in the age of computers and two-income families. Americans are busy, and hence the decline in membership in Freemasonry. But citizens continue to benefit from the goodwill of these brethren who dedicate themselves to the spirit of Masonry now and in the past. Education is a top priority for Masons, and in particular for one past member of Dallas Lodge whose contributions to the Masonic bodies over 70 years ago continues to help aspiring students today.
He's born March the 24th, 1841, and died July the 3rd, 1922.
Judge D. Brown Walker is talking about Luis Antonio Pires, a Portuguese who was orphaned as a young boy and brought to the United States by his uncle. He became a wealthy banker and devoted Mason. Although tight with a buck when he was alive, Brother Pires, who died a bachelor, was generous to his community when he died. Judge Walker is head of the L.A. Pires Educational Foundation and has studied the life of Brother Pires.
He was interested in everybody besides himself. He gave everything that he had for good causes. One university, one orphan's home, one sanitarium, and the Masonic bodies.
Brother Pires granted 25% of his estate to his Masonic bodies, out of which Dallas Lodge received 1/9. Tysha Renfro, the niece of Brother Sam Lundy, is one of the recipients of the L.A. Pires Scholarship.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to receive my degree if it weren't for the scholarships. And it was just a real blessing to have, that income, coming in every semester, because you just never know from semester to semester, if you're going to be able to come back that year or not. And I had the comfort of knowing that, I was going to be able to get my degree.
It really makes me happy and pleased to know that they were willing to put this trust in her, and help her with her finances, and makes me somewhat feel obligated to them. They put their trust in her, and I just feel like I owe something back to them now for that.
Other members of Dallas Lodge gave so generously to education that there are 12 schools in the Dallas area named after Dallas Lodge members. As for the contributions to Masonry, 7 Dallas Lodge members were so dedicated, other lodges were named in their honor. They include Sam P. Cochran, Mike H. Thomas, A.C. Garrett, John L. DeGrazier, Edwin J. Keast, John G. Slater, and Gay P. Allen. Brother Allen was Grand Senior Warden of the Grand Lodge of Texas and would have been Dallas Lodge's 6th Grand Master except for his premature death. Dallas Lodge 760 is in a class by itself.
Well, I think greatness attracts greatness sometimes, but these people were more unusual. They weren't your typical power businessmen or power builders. They were all civic-minded and of benevolent spirits. That's what I find so unique about it. I think I could come up with a better list of just rich people, but not a better list of great men.
Brother Dillard, it is my pleasure to present to you the Centennial Award of the Dallas Lodge number 760.
More importantly, Masonry is an equal partnership of brothers that crosses all lines, from rich to poor, from young to old.
It's a feeling of equality. With it takes all different walks of life and combines men together with one common bond. And in that group, we are all equal. We all respect one another, and the opportunity to have respect for a fine group of men as this, and to also be respected by this fine group of men, is a driving force.
And we're going to look forward to another 100 years of this great lodge. Thank you very much.
And what about the future for Dallas Lodge?
I think Dallas Lodge will probably become a smaller lodge in the future, but in doing so, it'll become a more focused lodge. The new brothers who will join with a clear purpose in mind. They will know what they want in Masonry and from Masonry, and they will bring to the lodge a leadership and a purpose in mind.
Well, I believe as long as there are men of good moral character with a strong integrity and have a sense of wanting to improve society, that we will be an attraction in Dallas Lodge to those type of men. I think it will have a steady influx of people that are contributors to the Dallas community as well as to the state of Texas. And it's my fervent hope that we are able to project our image in as favorable a light as they have in the past.
I firmly believe that despite membership in Masonic organizations declining, Dallas Lodge is initiating enough good young men, and that we have enough Masonic veterans willing to guide those young men and Dallas Lodge into another successful century.